What Apple has been planning for the last 3 years of iPhone just took a new spotlight as reported by some very credible sources. It seems Motorola plans to bring some interesting colors to some of our favorite materials for its new RAZR, and yes, it seems Samsung wasn't really discontinuing one of the most innovative devices it's launched, it just needed a bit more time. I'm Jaime Rivera, and I know, right? 2 videos back to back. These are just 3 really interesting topics. This is Tech Briefing powered by MediaTek. The official news today start with Samsung in an unexpected turn of events. So remember the news that the Galaxy Z TriFold was getting discontinued, that it was just a trial run and that the company was focusing more on what's next? Well, think again. The company is giving the Galaxy Z TriFold the spotlight once again as they are restocking the product on April 10th in the United States. Now, if you read the news in some places, they're calling this a final restock, but it's not what I got in the email from the company. It just says that the product is back in store, so I'm not going to speculate over whether this is a final chance to buy it or not. What you should care about, assuming that you are still interested, is that the restock will be available both through Samsung.com and in physical Samsung Experience stores, starting early in the morning. Now, given how quickly the first batch disappeared, yeah, it could be that people will go crazy, or that maybe supplies aren't as generous as we're used to. Thing is, yeah, we have so many rumors of the Galaxy Wide Fold, also the Galaxy Z Fold 8 with newer chips and possible improvements in hardware, though of course they don't fold into full-blown tablets like you get with the TriFold. Let me know which device would you pick now that you've heard about the Y Fold or the Z Fold 8 in the comments. Now let's switch to Motorola, as yes, the news of what's coming continue to intensify. I'm not sure if you should call this the RAZR 70 Ultra as it goes in Europe or just the RAZR Ultra 2026, as I assume will happen in the United States, but regardless, leaks continue popping up. The design itself isn't changing much, sticking to the same clamshell foldable style, but the materials and finishes are where things get interesting. New colors like cocoa wood bring back a wood-like texture similar to last year's model, while Orient Blue Alcantara, which honestly looks more like purple, adds a soft fabric style finish pretty much like last year. The wood option especially stands out and gives the phone a more premium, unique feel compared to typical glass or metal designs. Hey, I loved how it looked and felt last year, so clearly the approach is to offer the same but in different colors. Now, aside from aesthetics, earlier leaks suggest that the phone could be slightly thicker, likely due to a bigger battery or improved camera hardware. The displays are expected to stay the same with a larger inner screen and a usable outer display, keeping the formula that we already know. Now, an odd detail from these renders is that apparently the selfie camera cutout is missing on the inner display, though that's probably just a rendering mistake rather than a real change. Now, wouldn't it be really nice if this were an under-display camera, just like Samsung brought with its bigger foldables before? At this point, if history serves as a way to gain context, this launch is just, weeks away, so stay tuned. I'm curious to know if you like these new colors in the comments. And before we get to the hottest news, let me tell you about today's sponsor, MediaTek. When you look or try out the CMF Phone 2 Pro, the first thing you'll think is there's no way that this phone costs just $279. The design is gorgeous. It has a triple camera system that's modular with optional accessories. It's got a great display, performance, and battery life. But what really makes this possible is the power of MediaTek's Dimensity 7300 Pro. Its 4nm architecture enables support for great display quality, accelerated gaming, the latest forms of connectivity, and top-tier AI communications at a more aggressive price. It's the reason brands like Nothing trust MediaTek for devices like these. Thanks to MediaTek for sponsoring this video. And finally, for the hottest news today, let's talk Apple, because there's so much to unpack from multiple incredible sources that I'm just gonna have to make this probably the longest segment that I've made so far for a tech briefing. Let's begin with the biggest question of them all. There's been just so many rumors of what Apple is gonna do with the iPhone Air that it's really even hard to know where to start. Some said sales weren't great, so Apple would discontinue it. Our last video had sources claiming that it was going to happen, but there wouldn't be any design changes to care about, and that the launch would happen during the fall with the Pro iPhones. Yeah, It seems you're gonna have to scratch that as well. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman just brought a set of very interesting predictions which start with the Air 2 and fall more in line with the rumors I believe in most. The phone is coming and it's launching in the spring of 2027 with 2 other iPhones, with the Air being the higher end variant, which kind of makes sense. So yeah, iPhone 18e is a definite given. Apple has been following this formula for 2 years now with the iPhone 17e, which has been far better than we expected. Then it's the base iPhone 18, which we had heard for a while was going to shift to a spring launch. And then we have the iPhone Air 2. Now yeah, the last batch of rumors I covered claim you're only getting 1 camera, but news sources call that the extra camera is a possibility, and which would actually make sense if this is the higher end offering of the spring. I mean, 2 cameras on the base and only 1 on the Air would be crazy confusing. Heck, there are sources on Weibo calling for Apple already working on the iPhone Air 3, so I'm gonna trust Gurman on this one. But then, what about the fall? Apple's plans to split its iPhone launches are pretty much leaving the end of 2026 as time for high-end launches only, and this just got some extra insights from Mark Gurman. When it comes to the foldable iPhone, we just heard some interesting reports of the company scaling back expectations from a possible 10 million units shipped to just 3 million for the launch window. Now, I call it out because while you might think this is a crazy drop, well, for context, it's still more than what Samsung projected and sold for the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And speaking of competition, the company is also reportedly locking in Samsung displays as its exclusive supplier for foldable OLED panels for at least 3 years, mainly because competitors like BOE and LG haven't met Apple's quality standards. Now, if you're wondering why the sales are estimated to be low, well, let's talk about price points which just emerged. Gurman claims that this iPhone is expected to cross a $2,000 threshold. It's unclear if that means for certain storage variants or if it's for its starting point. The iPhone 17 Pro Max with 2 terabytes is $1 short of $2,000. If the Ultra launches at the same $1,999, the 2 terabyte variant could go up to $2,799. Other essentials like specifications remain pretty much the same: 7.7-inch internal crease-free display, a 5.3-inch outer screen, Touch ID in the power button, and yeah, I'm still personally debating if MagSafe will be included. I'm hoping it is, but we'll see. Probably the most intriguing part of Mark Gurman's latest report is where the iPhone is going. It seems the company is in the middle of a 3-year strategy to completely reinvent the iPhone, with major redesigns planned each year, but with the final steps of the roadmap happening in 2027. According to Gurman, the roadmap started in 2025 with the redesigned iPhone 17 Pro models and the introduction of the ultra-thin iPhone Air. Rumors have called Apple to remain conservative for 2026, but that's for what launched in 2025. The major shift for this year is gonna be that foldable iPhone Ultra, creating a new category for Apple. Yes, foldables are not new, but it's not like if they've taken off, so clearly the form factor needs an Apple push. Thing is, by 2027, Apple is aiming for its most ambitious release yet, which, yes, it's not even the foldable. The title is pretty much set for that 20th anniversary iPhone that we've been discussing for months now. The idea here is to actually fulfill the goals Apple has had since the first iPhone, and which Johnny Ive articulates in the iPhone X introduction really well. The idea is to have a seamless, all-glass design. This device would pretty much feature a fully uninterrupted display with an under-screen camera technology and curved glass edges, representing the final steps in Apple's vision of a truly all-screen iPhone. Your guess is as good as mine as to what Apple will do with the base iPhone, though, as that one hasn't seen a change since the iPhone 16. In today's question, let me know. What iPhone in this 3-year plan are you looking forward to most? Because in my case, yes, I want the Ultra for sure, but the iPhone 20 has me intrigued because, I mean, if that one's better than the Ultra, then what does it bring? Let me know what you're excited for most in the comments. Friends, thank you so much for joining on this new episode of Tech Briefing. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments, as I'm sure you've seen me try to respond to as many as I can. Also, follow me on social media as more behind-the-scenes work continues to happen there, as yes, I do have a lot more work coming. Also, guys, our Technically There podcast with Josh is returning very soon, so stay tuned for that as well. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.